So I went to HMP Coldingley last week to spend an hour or so with some of the lads in there that are in recovery or in the early stages of recovery or trying to get themselves clean. It was an amazing time. I found it's truly inspirational guys. I've done a video on Facebook about it shortly afterwards. When I got to the prison, it was a bit weird for me. I've been in prison twice before, and I've never been in through the front door of a prison. I've never even been to visit anybody because I'm used to being locked up in them. So why would I want to go in there and spend time in there if I didn't have to? Now, I was feeling quite a way about going there, but really excited, nervous at the same time. I was running a little bit behind. The prison said I had a certain amount of time to get there. I wouldn't be allowed in. I was there with 2 minutes to spare. And one of the officers behind the screen said to me, "I recognise you." And it turns out he was an officer on one of the wings I was on when I was in HMP Wood Hill some 13, 14 years ago. And for him to recognise me was absolutely unreal. Since then, obviously, I'd fell into heavy addiction. I'd been homeless. I think you all know my story now. And he said, "Fair play to you for turning it around. You know, you're coming in the front door now." So that was pretty cool. So I handed my ID in. They gave me a little key for the safe, put my stuff in the safe, and went through like almost like an airlock type system. And went in. I was walked through the prison. There was a few of the prisoners, or a few of the men in there, were out doing their cleans and cleaning the wing and doing what they do. Not sure if many of you know about what happens in prison. You can't just walk around freely. So these guys are obviously like corridor cleaners or wing cleaners, or they had certain jobs. You get certain privileges with certain jobs where you get to go to different parts of the prison as and when they tell you you can. So we've walked through the prison. I've said hello to a few people. Everyone was polite. It was all good. I felt the woman said to me, she said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I feel really comfortable in here. You know, I've been in prison a few times. I'm absolutely fine." So we went into an office, and there was a room at the back. She said, "Right, all the men are in there." So I said, "No problem, just introduce me." I went in there, like, "Oh, where have you been? We're running late, you know, we didn't think you were coming." I said, "I'll get to that in just a moment, and I'll let you know what happened." Now, the woman that escorted me in then went, "All right, cheers, Chris, I'll leave you to it." And she walked out of the room and shut the door and left me in there with 7 or 8 guys. So I sat down. I was like, "Hi, my name's Chris. I'm really sorry that I'm late." And they were like, "Oh, no problem." So a little bit of just apologise because I was late. You know, I was honest with them. I was late because I didn't know which bus to get. I was a little bit out of sorts. And I told them a bit about myself, about my life in crime, how I got involved with certain people, you know, as a mid to late teenager. Spoke about a few, and we connected. We had a few laughs, actually. There was a bit of laughter in the room, some smiles. Some of the lads were sharing back with me how, you know, some of the crimes that they'd done to end up in there. One guy in particular, he'd been in there or in the prison system for the last 10 years. Now, I didn't ask him how long he had to go or anything like that, because you don't really do that sort of thing. And he actually piped up and he said, "Do you have your recovery chips on you?" Now, I have mine here. So these are all my chips here. I made a little plaque for them. And I do display them quite proudly. I have a detox chip up there, my first week chip, going up through 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months, all the way up to a year, plus my detox bands here from the detox centre that I was in. And I said, no, I wasn't allowed in with them. Obviously, I'm not allowed to bring any objects into prison in case they're either stolen or used on, you know, the black market or as a weapon or whatever. And the guy proudly, and I was not expecting this, proudly popped out a black chip. Now, for anyone that knows what a black chip is, it's multiple years of sobriety. And I was blown away. This guy has spent the last 10 years of his life in prison through crimes that he committed while he was in heavy drug addiction and alcohol addiction. And he found a way to get clean and recovered whilst in prison. Now, that's something I could never do. Last time I was in prison, they put me on a methadone script. They put me on 5 mils to start with, locked me in a holding cell for 12 days, and they ramped it up. Eventually, by the time I came out of prison, I'd been on methadone longer than I'd been on heroin, and it was a problem. That stuff it's not nice. I see why they give it to people, because it stops the craving for, or the feeling of needing heroin. But when I came out, I relapsed on heroin and crack, and then I was still on methadone as well, which is often the case, so often the case. It's used as an extra. I didn't intend for that to happen, but for these guys to, especially this one guy, and a few of them actually were saying they've got X amount of clean time behind them, in a prison, when it's a hard life in prison, and it's supposed to be hard, I get that, I do get that. It's a punishment, it's supposed to be the fear factor. You don't want to go to prison, so it puts you off committing crime. For these guys to turn around and be so positive about their recoveries and so keen to change their lives around, I was blown away. I didn't know what to expect, whether the guys were going to sort of be taking a mickey out of me, because I'm not a criminal anymore, because it used to be cool to be a criminal. When you're in prison, it's who's the best criminal. None of you, because you're all in prison like I was. None of us are very good at it. That's why we've ended up here. Now, there was another couple of guys that had actually booked in through the help of the prison and Forward Trust, and obviously their own hard work as well. They booked into a rehab centre. They both come into prison at the same time for different offences. They didn't know each other. They came in at the same time. They're due to leave at roughly the same time. They're going to the same rehab centre. And again, for them to have somewhere to go after prison. When I left prison, I was put out homeless. And the Forward Trust are trying to work with people to try and stop that happening, which is amazing. They're a fantastic charity, and I'm looking forward to doing more work with them in the future. And I sat there and I thought, these guys, I have to take my hat. And I said that to them. I said, I find you all so inspirational. They're like, we're inspired by you. You're not in prison. I said, yeah, because I'm out there. I can do what I like. You're in here, in the harshest of conditions. It's cold, it's damp, freezing showers, fights, drugs, inside crime, all sorts of stuff going on. And they found a way. And that sort of reiterated to me that if you want to do something, if you want to get clean and you want to get sober and you want to find recovery, you will find a way of doing it. Whatever that way is, whatever works for you. For some people, it's the room, CAA and NA. I'm not supposed to mention them on here, but it's part of my journey, so I feel that I should. These guys found it through knuckling down, through giving up their substances, working the prison program and going through a detox with the prescribers in jail, I should imagine, and lowering themselves off, and probably having not the nicest of time for towards the end of their detox anyway, for a few weeks while they're coming off stuff. And they could just click their fingers and just say, I need to go back on that. And they would more than likely be put back on it. So fair play to them. You're living in a tiny little cell with another person, with a toilet in the corner, getting given food when you get it, if you get it. And they've done it. They've found a way. There is always a way. I have a lot of people reach out to me on social media to say, I really need to find the help for my partner, son, husband, brother, sister, mother. You get the gist. And they say, they're quite happy living the life they live, but it's going to kill them. Now, I find those messages really hard to reply to, because I have to be honest, and I have to turn around and I have to tell these people who are reaching out to me for help that until the addict or the user wants to better themselves and wants to get clean, there's nothing you can do. If you force someone into rehab or you force somebody into recovery, they won't put the effort in because they don't want to change. They can't see the light yet. And for me, I had to hit the rockiest of rock bottoms where I nearly lost my leg, and it was still another 6 months after that till I finally got clean. But that was the catalyst in the change for me. I'd been in and out of rehab a few times because I wanted to go. I wasn't forced into it. I'd almost begged to go, but I wasn't ready. And the last time I went in, I was ready. I was full on. I had had enough. I'd been out. I'd relapsed after the last few rehabs, and I'd tried what I thought was everything, but I hadn't. I'd actually gone in and said, right, tell me what to do to get better. And the people that were running the rehab said, okay, Chris, you need to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, well, I'll do Z, but X and Y, they're not for me. I don't want to be that person. And they're like, well, give it a go. I'm like, no, I was too arrogant. I was too stubborn. I was too in my own ego. And it wasn't until the last sort of time round, when I was holding on to my drug abuse before I went into the last detox centre, that, you know, I when I say holding on, I mean, I was just on that cliff edge of falling into seriously heavy addiction. I was using a lot, don't get me wrong, a hell of a lot, but I was about to lose the room that I was living in. I was about to lose my family again, who were supporting me as much as they could from, you know, they were living miles, hundreds of miles away. And they were on the verge of having enough, and I couldn't have got into that detox centre more at the right time than I did. It was perfect for me, so I was literally about to fall off, and I knew from previous experience that I was going to fall off, so I needed to do something differently. And what I'd done differently was, after I'd done my detox on Subutex, Esprinol, which is a new Subutex, I'd done a rapid detox where I came off very quickly. They put me on 12 milligrams. I came off that in 10 days, and I had a horrendous time. But I still, after the three or 4 days of hallucinating and sleepless nights and agony and just hideousness I can't really remember, I managed to get up and go to group 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the afternoon, and then a meeting at night. For the next 3.5 to 4 weeks, I did that, and I pushed through, and I learned, and I listened, and more importantly, I acted. I had to put what I was told, no matter whether I agreed with it or not, what they suggested to me to do, or what they sometimes told me, Chris, you need to do this, I did it. I said, I completely gave myself over to them and said, tell me what to do. I no longer want to live like that, and I will try anything. So I did. And here we are. I'm sat doing a quick podcast nearly 14 months later. I'm actually, today I am 1 year, 1 month and 23 days clean and in recovery. And I'm very proud, like I've already pointed at them, of these here. They're on my chips, to say so. And there is always a way, guys, you know, there is always a way. I'm sat in my new flat. I haven't done a proper video like this for a while because I've been setting this place up. I'll just put the office together today. So the whiteboard's completely empty up there behind me, but hopefully that will have a few dates going on it soon. Some important stuff. I have another whiteboard to the side, and I have one by the front door because I make a lot of lists and I forget a lot of stuff. So it's in my nature to forget things, unfortunately. So I work around that. I make lists on my phone, I set alarms on my phone, and I write stuff on these big boards in massive letters. So when I wake up in the morning, I see them. And like I say, there's always a way. It's just figuring out what that way is. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope everybody's having a great time, and follow me on Facebook. Please do subscribe to this channel. Please share these videos as much as you can, and like and comment. If you've got any questions, please pop a comment up in the comment section, and I will answer them as honestly as I can. You can ask me anything about my life of crime, my life in addiction, homelessness. Please ask away. If there's anything that you want to know, I am more than happy to share that with you guys. Thank you for watching. It's been fun.